Hold up. Are you recording it? Okay.
I am now. So this is the beginning. This is our study abroad trip in Berlin. We're group three. So first we have our kickoff meeting, which we started with. This is our A1. With using this project management tool, we begin our planning. So we had the Fibonacci sequence, pruning the product tree. This is basically giving us an overview of how we want to do everything, how we're structuring everything, and then also the speedboat and our sailboat, giving everything a little bit more structure. And then the user story format. As a student who is interested in implement of technology, we want to travel to Germany so that we can learn about technology and its implication or implementation on a larger scale. So the second part is our SMART goals. So these are our goals for our actual trip. So to start off, we have to set up our group work and our meeting schedule, which is going to be the first thing that we're talking about right now. M, which is our to schedule can be followed and group work is successful. All of us must fulfill the schedule. We all have different schedules. We all have different times. So we had to figure out a certain schedule. Will the schedule improve performance based on the times that we have? And then the timeline will be indicated by class and as our schedules allow. And the second part is our project kickoff meeting agenda. And this is when we begin to our planning or research of like Germany and what we want to do. And next is A2. We have WBS, which is work breakdown structure. This is used to break down a project. As you see on this diagram to the side, we list everything from like sports teams or different events that are going on, and then we break that down by category to category. It should be used whenever you are planning out a project. And then our project scope, we're taking study abroad trip to Germany, and we are hoping with WES it will be interesting. And then WBS, like I said, it's a breakdown of a project showing work, elements, and products, and it shows the process.
So for A3, we had to do our trip itinerary. And the itinerary basically is breaking the trip down into event by event or hour by hour, however you break things down. It includes the location and activity. We have one of our examples here on the side. We had to make our itinerary and we did it making on a website called Trip Hobo. It allowed us to plan out our trip, know what we're doing and when, and to allow us to continue our planning. So trip itineraries are used whenever you're planning a group trip, planning anything. It can be used for anything from a 1 day event to a 2 week study abroad trip. It can help you coordinate anything from your travel needs, day-to-day schedules, and almost anything else that you could possibly need. We also used an A4. We mapped and visualized the trip. We used Google Earth to map it out. We went all the way from starting at App State all the way over to Berlin and back. We also used it to create a walking tour following our entire itinerary. And following the itinerary shows a walkthrough of our trip. And using Google Earth, we were able to show kind of where everything is and what everything is as we travel through Berlin. Google Earth also allowed us to see part of the trip without actually having to go. It allowed us to follow along and continue to plan and show potential students what we are looking at doing. And we can provide a preview of every little aspect of our trip from the outside of the hotel to the airport to the inside of even some of the museums.
And then for A5, this was a walking tour on Google Maps, and it allowed, or we were able to use the Street View function of Google Maps in order to get a like in order to get a realistic view of what each destination would look like from many different angles and spots around it. And it is extremely simple but very very effective at giving you a preview of what you are going to see. And uh sorry, and then so On Street View also it allows you to rotate like 360 degrees around, just allowing you to really explore like what is around there. And it's really the best way to preview a destination before actual arrival to that destination. And then for A6, we had our auto transcription through Zoom. So that was where we had a group meeting, and then we were able to have a transcription automatically transcribed through Zoom. And so this means that everyone has access to that transcription, even if they were not able to attend that group meeting. And it's really easy to use as well because it does it automatically, and it just allows you to look over notes, and it keeps the conversation flowing naturally and uninterrupted. And so we discussed many articles and topics that were required, and with that comes that we want to be able to look back at the transcription in order to essentially fact check ourselves. So if there was something that was maybe not as strong or maybe incorrect, then we can go back into the transcription and actually see it rather than having to rely on memory. And on the flip side, if something was a really good point but not emphasized, then we're able to emphasize that more. And it really just allows like full attention to be on the conversation and not having to keep track of like taking notes or exactly remembering all of the highlights. And it was also most helpful because we could not align our schedules exactly to have a full group meeting. So this transcription still allowed us, or allowed our entire group, to get all of the necessary information.
For A7, we had our treasure hunt, and for using a website, we were using a website called Airpano, and that's what we used to create our scavenger hunt in Berlin. Using this program, we explored Berlin and like all the famous attraction sites that tourists go to. This website will allow us to show the perspective of travelers in Berlin. Our issues with this site, Berlin only showed and pictured 4 images of only 4 of the famous locations in Berlin. We would rather provide or use Google Maps and Earth because it gave us more options than Airpano. And for A8, it was our sales pitch, and our acronym was Fernweh, which the F stands for Fascinating Architecture to Discover in Berlin. E standed for Exciting Day Nightlife. The R stand for Recreation is Mandatory. N stand for New Experiences Around Every Corner. W stand for Wander around the city to explore countless adventures. E, engage with the local culture and people. H, have the trip of a lifetime. And the questions that we answered that people asked us was the what was our study abroad trip to Berlin. The who, as in who was going to join us, was Appalachian State students. Where, Berlin, Germany. When, September 16th through October 3rd. And why, to learn about SDGs, technology, transportation, and the culture of Berlin. And the A, or a how, with the guidance of our guides and professors. We attempted to sell our trip to prospective students that would want to join us in our trip.
And so to start A9, we have the multimedia presentation. So what we did for this is we used AI to create trip image. So like you see here, we have the different types of AI created images and answered the questions of where are we going? We also answered how are we getting there, what we are doing, what are we learning, what is the cost of everything, and when we are actually going. And so we use these images to show all of these answers, like you see the Reichstag building and also the gateway. But these are just a few examples of it.
So for A9, we also had to turn this into a video presentation, and we had to use music to try and create a more fun mood for our presentation, trying to sell this trip to prospective students. We use that music to aid our sale and use this music, this video, the AI imaging to aid in our sales pitch video, which will hopefully allow us to bring more students along on our trip that we hope to be the trip of a lifetime.
Starting A10, the trip flyer. So it was created in order to promote our trip and really just to like get the word out there and try and give people like a very concise overview of what our trip is all about. And we wanted to make it look nice and pretty in order to really draw people in. And we also created a short video to promote our trip. And yeah, we just really want to try and bring in as many people as we can, and that was the purpose of creating the trip flyer.
And the way that we put it out was our social media reach is minimal due to the shortened scope of this class. And we put each of our video or put our flyer up on YouTube, and it has 1 comment, 1 view, and 24 hours at recording.
And that is our video and our
All
final
right.
presentation. Thank you.